all day energy with this delicious roasted pork loin and sweet potato puree. I don't think pork gets enough credit. We always talk about chicken or beef, but we don't really talk about pork as much as we should. Even though it can be slightly higher in calories than chicken, it is absolutely delicious and a real blank canvas similar to chicken where you can go 100 different ways. And one of my favorite ways to make pork is to use Chinese 5-spice. And this is just a super fragrant and floral and just complex, beautiful seasoning that you can use to go with it. And I'm pairing it here with some brown sugar and some kosher salt. If you want to get the most mileage out of your roasted pork, the first step that we're going to do is sear it. Once the pork tenderloin is seared, we're going to put it on a sheet pan with a roasting rack, and then we're going to put it in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 to 18 minutes. I'm looking for it to come out at about 145 to 150 degrees Fahrenheit, and then we're going to let it sit for another 10 to 15 minutes so it can rest and all the juices can redistribute. Another misconception that some of us have, probably from our parents, is that pork needs to be cooked to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's just not true. You absolutely can serve pork medium or medium well and have it be delicious and amazing. One of my favorite things to make is hummus, and it's easy to make, but it's hard to make well. So what I'm doing is using the hummus recipe, and I'm going to be adding some additional tahini and some additional water, ice water, to help thin it out so you kind of get that pourable, spreadable texture. Oftentimes when you buy hummus from a grocery store, while the flavor is there, it's much thicker and kind of tastier. So for this dish, what we're doing is we're going to take that kind of foundational recipe and we're going to thin it out a little bit, and we're going to make it a little bit easier and a little bit silkier and smoother to move across the plate. Back in my restaurant days, one of the things that we made sure to do with every dish was get the fond off the bottom of the pan. And fond is a fancy word for all of the brown bits that are left over after searing our roasted pork loin. And one of the easiest ways that you do that is to deglaze the pan. You're pouring liquid into a hot pan and then scraping up all of those brown bits. That's usually a step in the process. An easy way for us to kind of hack this today is to take some red onions that are thinly sliced, put those in the pan. The moisture of those, along with maybe a splash of stock or water, will be enough to loosen up that fond, scrape up those brown bits, and then that's going to get incorporated into our corn and onion salad that is going to be just delicious to go on the side with this. So how can you make fun, flavorful meals that don't take hours in the kitchen and still have it do something for your body long term? For me, that's as simple as pairing foods together that work with each other to maximize their benefits. And I call that stack to attack. I know it's kind of corny, but it works. If eating for longevity sounds good to you, consider following me for weekly YouTube videos and shorts, all recipes designed for longevity. Recipes for longevity categories like better sleep, better energy, lowering cholesterol, and reducing inflammation. And if you're serious about eating for longevity, then you need to grab my free monthly kit that is in the description notes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week on Bricks and Mortar Food.